All right, welcome back to another edition of the Osceola Seminole Sidelines, and we're going to kind of have a reeling them in episode. Our guest today is 2024 offensive line prospect Deryc Plazz from Andrew Jackson High School in Jacksonville, Florida. Deryc was offered by Florida State in March, correct, Deryc?
Yes, sir.
All right, so welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Deryc and I were talking before we get started. I don't know if I could have done this when I was his age. Of course, he was more you're more popular than I was as a recruit. You've probably talked to a lot more people than I did, did back then. But anyway, Deryc, first of all, thanks for joining us. I know you're getting hit up by a lot of people. You've come out with your top 5. But that doesn't slow college football coaches down. In fact, it may speed up the process. I'm just asking this question before we get started on all the other stuff. Have you gotten more offers since you announced your top 5?
Not just yet, but I feel like.
Yeah. Now, how many people a day are you getting hit up by? Texts, calls, all that mess.
About 5 or 6 a day right now.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. We're talking before we started. You are a Jacksonville native. First of all. What do you think about the Jags this past season? Old Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne and all those guys.
I think the Jags were great this year. Show the flash of what is to come in the future. And when finally we see the potential in the team. So we had one good year with Jalen and all those guys, but now we're seeing some good things, some good building blocks, some things we could build on for the upcoming seasons.
Now, growing up in Jacksonville, you always been a Jags fan? Are you Bucks, Falcons?
At first I wasn't really an NFL fan. I just watched the teams. But then recently, especially when they start winning more, I'll tell you the truth, kind of bandwagon. But I've been on the Jazz a little bit more recently.
All right. So growing up in Jacksonville, you're surrounded by Gators, Seminoles, and Bulldogs. Were any of those 3 teams your favorites growing up? And you're still growing up.
For a small point, it was the Gators there. After that, it was definitely Bama.
Okay. All right. So I was born in Alabama, so I'm good with that. Did he play there?
No, sir. No.
Just from Alabama? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Where's he from in Alabama?
I think it's Lafayette. It's by right there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So let's kind of learn about Deryc. Deryc, when did you first start playing football, and when did you figure out you might be pretty good at it?
I first started playing football when I was about 5. Started off playing offensive line on the Pop Warner level. Then I went to unlimited weight because I was a bigger kid. Yep. So I was in center. Then came middle school. I played a little tight end, a little DN. Got to high school, started playing offensive line freshman year. And that's when I realized I can do something with football freshman year. When I had took a break in 8th grade, started playing basketball, came through freshman year. And I actually was able to start varsity games at the end of my freshman season. Only 240 pounds, but I could hold my own on some varsity games.
That was varsity football?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. If you're playing now, did you play basketball once you got – I figured you were 6'5", and if I had been 6'5", I would have wanted to be the next Michael Jordan. So yeah. I would have tried to play basketball too.
Yes, sir. I played basketball. This year was probably my last season since I'll be early enrolling wherever I go. Okay. But I played basketball for the past 3 high school seasons on varsity level.
All right. Well, that explains. Obviously, you got good footwork in football, but obviously basketball helps that. You can certainly see where that's transferred over with your footwork. And listen, I was telling Deryc before we started, if you have not seen Deryk's huddle highlights from his junior year, you should go watch it. He has excellent feet. Moves laterally really well, extremely physical, gets after people. And one of the things I was telling him is he's even physical in pass protection. It's not a passive exercise for him. He had a defender raise his hands up and try to jump up and bat down the ball, and he got Deryk's 2 hands right in his gut. So Deryc got the hands down anyway. So Deryc, all right. So you got your offer from Florida State in March, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
yeah.
And obviously, it's by today's standards late in the process, and I think they're. I think for offensive linemen, I think colleges should wait because we're asking people to get bigger and stronger, and it's not natural to just put on 40 pounds in the course of 2 years. Like running backs and quarterbacks, they kind of get to their full weight faster get to their full potential faster than, say, a young man that's 6'5", 265. But just talk a little bit about when the recruiting process started with Florida State and how you ended up with an offer coming out of your unofficial visit. And I believe it was late March, correct?
Yes, sir. The recruiting process started at Florida State. Actually started kind of early. Me and Coach Atkins been going at it for a minute. He first started recruiting me probably towards the summer going into my junior season. And he was at the first Power 5 school that I was getting recruited by. So he was my first ever visit. He was my first everything. So they did a great job of building a relationship with me and showing me, even though I hadn't earned my offer yet, that it was still not just a guy they just have around for no reason. So with Atkins, the biggest thing about me earning my offer was gaining weight. He told me for my first visit, I was like 240 pounds my first time at Florida State playing offensive line. So he told me, he was like, hey, man, I think you're a hell of a player, but at the same time, I'm not going to be able to offer a kid that's 240. I can't do it. He was like, I need you to get to a set weight, then we're going to be able to talk. So I've been down about 2 to 3 more times before I was offered, and each time I was gaining weight, but it still wasn't our set weight yet. Right. Then before my last time come down in March, recruiting process starting to pick up some more because some other schools see me putting on a few pounds, even though me and Coach Atkins already discussed the set weight. Other schools see me putting on a few pounds, so they started to jump on me. That's when I started kind of taking off for his recruiting. But then I came down, watched practice. Me and Coach Atkins had a thorough talk, and he was saying that I was probably 5 pounds off from the weight. He was like, 5 pounds. He was like, I love the way you've been putting on the weight because I still look the same from when I was 240. You could just tell.
Feel lean.
A little bit. Yes, sir. Yeah. So that's what he loved about it. Like, just seeing me having to make those changes to my body, having to being determined to gain the weight because he know if I can gain this 40, 30 pounds in high school, in the college system, especially a system like Florida State, gaining weight would be nothing for me.
Yeah. And
so just giving him some good signs of how me as a player.
Yeah, and I think that you could probably count on gaining at least another 20 just naturally once you get to college because you're still growing into your body. Now, how much weight have you put in? So you went from 240 to 265. How long did it take you to put on that weight?
From 240, I'm actually like 275 right now. I gained a few more pounds. But when I was around 265, that may have been my third time down. That may have been like 3 or 4 months apart.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good, man. Now, how do you feel like you're able to move and operate in that 270, 275 like you have when you were in your 245 self?
Yes, sir, because I have a background in basketball, and I've still been playing basketball. I still stay active, still do a lot of ladder drills because your feet, especially playing offensive tackle right now, feet are one of the best things. You got to have good feet, good hands, as well as the physical tools to be able to move people.
Yep. And now is Florida State? Is that what they're recruiting you as, an offensive tackle?
Atkins, we already discussed. He doesn't recruit guys to play one position.
Yeah.
He recruits you to play all 5, but when you coming in, he's not going to throw you at center if you've been playing tackle for 4 years.
Right.
Put you where you're comfortable so you can learn the playbook. Then from there, he'll move you to where he feels you'll be where you can best suit the team. Because no offensive line coach in the country is going to have a backup left tackle be better than your starting right tackle. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And listen, you've gone down from, and Coach Atkins does, before I move on, Coach Atkins does talk all the time in Tallahassee about how he cross trains guys. And of course, I just wondered at 6'5" if they were going to try you at tackle if you decide to come to Florida State. All right, so you've whittled down from 37 to basically 5, and obviously you can change your mind. I mean, that's nothing set in stone, but right now you've got Florida State, Miami, Duke, Penn State, and NC State. Just quickly, I've read that you've got a official visit to NC State for late June. Is that still the case?
Yes, sir.
And we are going to get into Florida State, but what kind of sticks out to you? But out of all those schools, and I just want you to give us a little bit on each one. What kind of stuck out to you about NC State? I know that obviously in my research, your relationship with Dave Doran seems important.
Yes, sir. My relationship with Coach D and as well as Coach Tuja has been great. Me and Coach Tuja first established a relationship when he was at Virginia. He came down towards the end of the fall to come see me play. I was going to get an offer there, but then coming into January, he got basically a promotion, a great new job. So we already had a standing relationship, and then he got the job I tested. Congratulations. And then from there, about 2 weeks later, he came down and offered me. Then the same weekend, I was already had a visit going up there. So, and then the 2 times that I've been up, the people are always great. I love the players. I love the place. North Carolina is a great place, surrounded by colleges. So you're going to be meeting like-minded people that's on the same type of path that you are. And then NC State does a phenomenal job of developing offensive and defensive linemen consistently. So Coach 2J did great things at Virginia. So now that he's at NC State with somewhat better resources, there's no doubt to me what things can be accomplished at NC State.
Right. And obviously, I think you have an official visit planned for Penn State 1st of June, if I'm right, the weekend of June 2nd through 4th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And kind of what stands out to you about Coach Franklin and Happy Valley?
Happy Valley is just great, from the whiteout game to the guys that they already have down in Jacksonville. That's why I'm excited to get up for a visit, because everyone I talk to about Penn State, they always say, hey, you just got to see it in person. You got to feel this place. You got to come see it. So I was excited to get up there because me and Coach Trotline have been doing a great job of building our relationship, even though he's come in later than guys like Coach Atkins and Coach 2J. But he still has done a great job of showing me I'm a priority. This class is going to be a big one for him because he got a lot of guys leaving. But when a lot of guys leave, that means a lot of guys coming in have an opportunity to play.
Okay. And are you planning on setting official visits with Florida State, Miami, and Duke for June, or are you going to wait till August to do do them in season?
With Miami, I have an official visit for the 3rd weekend.
Okay.
I believe the 16th.
The 18th. Okay.
Yeah, I locked that in the 16th through the 18th, I believe.
Yep,
so
that's correct.
Yep. And then with Duke, I'll probably lock in the 2nd weekend at Florida State, try to figure out a way to get another unofficial win before the season, and then probably take the Florida State official visit for one of the early games during that season.
Okay. All right. Well, so what? All right. So listen, we've talked about Coach Atkins. You got a great relationship with him. What does stand out to you about Florida State, both on and off the field? And then, we'll start there. What stands out to you about Florida State on and off the field as a potential college home?
Florida State on the field, just the trajectory of the program. The program has been doing great things, climbing over the years through Coach Norvell been there. The whole time he's been there, you can see constant stepping stones to success each year. And then last year, they had what seems like a breakout season, but when you're around that program, you can tell that that's what was planned. That's what the guys were working for. So the fact that Florida State is one of the few programs in college football that doesn't have a cap on it. A lot of programs you see, they could be good, but all they're going to do is win the conference championship in the bowl game. Florida State is a team that can be in this year and years following will be in a position to win national titles. And that's what it's all about. There's no point in playing for nothing. You play for championships and to win. So just seeing the trajectory of the program as a whole, and then the success of Coach Atkins as an offensive coordinator, offensive line coach as well as with Coach Gabe and Coach Coop. They have a great offensive line room there, and the way he's developing his guys right now, he's on track to have plenty of guys get drafted consistently. So that's something that I love.
And listen, they had, obviously, as an offensive lineman, they run the ball a lot, and most offensive linemen prefer run blocking, especially when you run it successfully. What do you think about the style of play and how Florida State uses its offensive linemen? You see a lot of players pulling, and both guards pull, both tackles pull. You see the center pull. What do you think about their style of play and the offense that Mike Norvell runs?
I love the style of play because they play smash mouth football. They're gonna run the ball down your throat. Then when they get tired of doing that or get bored of it because it's so successful, they throw the ball. So it's a little bit of everything. I love the schemes they run, the offense with a lot of the pulling, a lot of the counters. They've been one of the best counter teams in college football, which is something I love. I love to move and get out in space.
Yeah, as good as you are at moving, I bet you do like pulling. And as mean as you are on the football field, I could see that where you like to get a full head of steam going before you run into somebody. All right, so Coach Norvell talks about fit all the time. Fit on the field, off the field. What is it about Florida State that you think is a good fit for you on and off the field? Then obviously, what has your communications with Coach Norvell been like? What's kind of his message been to you?
The message to Coach Norvell is that nothing is a rush. My process has been slower with Florida State because they took the time to invest in me when I was a young guy, with not so ready just yet. So we're doing a great job, and he's also emphasized the same thing you said, fit. He take the time to get to know kids before. You can't just get a kid, he good offer. You got to take the time to build a relationship, have the kid come see you, you go see the kid. So it's been great. One thing about Florida State is really just Coach Atkins and the guys he has in his offensive line room, as well as with Coach Norvell being such a great head coach. Coach Atkins has plenty of guys in his offensive line room that are doing it the right way. So if I were to go to Florida State, I have older guys I can look up to that I can say, well, I want to be like Rob Scott, or I want to be like this guy and this guy. So that's just something that if I were to go to Florida State, something that I use to push me even more.
Now, have you had a chance on your unofficial visits to kind of talk to the players and watch Coach Atkins coach?
I've been around. I haven't talked to the players that much, but I talked to them a little bit. And I have watched Coach Atkins coach, sat in some meetings, watched a few practice scrimmages, things like that.
And do you feel like that's a good fit for you? His style, his demeanor, the way he handles his players, and
yes, sir. It's a great fit because with him, he builds great relationships with his players, but he's not trying to be your friend. He's going to be a hard-nosed coach. That's not. You can't have a coach that's going to be your friend right now. Then when you get in trouble, he want to be turning it on. Coach Atkins is transparent all the way. He keep it real at all times. That's what I love about him.
All right, so it sounds like you're going to probably take some time making your decision. You got the 4 officials in June. Looks like you want to try to schedule your official visit for Florida State in the fall. So do you have would the decision come quickly after your last official visit, or are you just going to take your time and go with when you feel the time is right to make that decision?
The decision will probably come quickly after my last official visit. I'm looking to make it right after the last of them. That's why I was trying to push for Florida State to be now recently. But the way I set up with the other schools and then the way they're doing things there, it probably had to be early in the fall. But this probably will come quickly after my last official visit.
All right. Now, obviously, I've talked about some of the strengths I see in you. You're still a developing football player, growing into your body, obviously still in high school. What do you think the strength of your game is right now as an offensive lineman?
The strength of my game is, one, I got a great frame and I can play all 5 positions. So as an offensive lineman, versatility is best. The guys that get drafted either just great at one position or can play multiple, and that's one thing I know I'm capable of doing. So I know that I'm a hard worker. So I know if I go into the right program with a coach like a Atkins or a 2J, with those type of guys that are technicians in what they do, I'm going to do nothing but get better.
Okay. And what would be one thing that you want to work on as you go through your senior season and get ready to go play college football?
Just preparing, doing things technically, doing everything technically sound, because I know in college, technique is very important versus high school. You can get by with bad technique if you're stronger than guys. But now I want to work on my technique, because when you go to college, everyone's going to be strong. Everyone's going to get stronger. So I want to just make sure I'm doing everything perfect.
All right. So let's get to know you a little bit off the field, because people are going to look at this video. They're going to go watch your film. They're going to find out that you got some of the physical tools that you and I have talked about. But what might be, if you're not involved in weightlifting, basketball, football, what may be one thing that would surprise people to learn about you off the field, or what are some of your favorite hobbies, things to do away from athletics?
I love to cook and I love to eat. So most nights,
Spoken like a true offensive lineman, you will have no issue putting on that weight if those are two of your favorite things.
Yes, sir. But most nights when I come home, I don't even waste my mom time cooking, because she's a hard worker. I love my mom, so I just come home, cook for I live with my mom and my 2 sisters, so I just come home and make things happen in the kitchen. I love to cook. It's something that I really do love to do.
All right. So what if you were if Coach Norvell and Coach Atkins are coming over for dinner on a home visit, what are you cooking up for the 2 coaches?
Probably some salmon. Cook some type of way. I love salmon.
All right, so you like seafood?
Yes, sir.
All right. You good at cooking shrimp?
Yeah, real good.
All right. I might have to see if I can come on the home visit, because I need some good fried shrimp. All right. So you like to cook. Now, do you have you got the Cooking Network, Food Network. Do you have any favorite cooking show that you watch?
Not really. Okay. I just
who taught you to cook? Your mom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is she who's a better cook? You better say her.
No, my mom. Okay. My mom had both pretty good cooks, so it's just it's one of think I maybe just inherited.
What? Yeah. Well, one or two. What are if you had to name one or two of your favorite dishes that she cooks for you? What would they be?
Probably shepherd's pie, and she makes like stuffed bell peppers. Those are pretty good.
Stuffed bell peppers are good. What does she usually stuff them with?
Ground beef, ground cream cheese, hotel, all type of stuff.
That's very all right. So, I've heard that they do cooking competitions on official visits. So whoever you get paired with is going to have an advantage having you on his team. So
sure.
that'll be pretty cool. All right. So when you get to college, listen, I changed majors 3 times in 24 months on campus when I started college. But what do you have? Have you thought about what you want to major in once you get to college?
Right now, I'm thinking business or sports management. When I'm done playing football, I'll probably get into maybe helping out with some type of medicine or being like a realtor or something, or just being an entrepreneur, or something I've been heavily considering recently is being a football coach. Right. So I'll probably go business or sports management route.
Well, listen, football coaches work crazy hours, but if you make it high enough level, they're paying really, really good right now. So it's not the worst job in the world. Now, real estate's not a bad way to go too. I've got a lot of buddies that have been very successful in real estate. So you already took my next question: is what do you want to do after your playing days? All right. So you said your favorite. We talked about your favorite food. What is your favorite class in high school?
Probably sports medicine. We have a sports medicine magnet at my school, and I love that class.
All right. So who are the people that you look up to, and will any of those people be helping you make a decision on where you're going to go to college?
The people I look up to are Donald Rocker, who is my coach, who he actually passed away, my uncle, my mom, and then my basketball coach, James Collins. And my mom and my uncle will be helping me make my college decision.
Yeah, and they've been what kind of advice they give you when we talk to them about it, if you don't mind sharing? You don't have to be too personal, but just generally.
Yeah, they just tell me to pray about everything. If you go to God about everything, He make everything easy for you. And they tell me don't jump into a decision. Don't be gullible and easily swayed, but take time, write things down, and make the decision that feels best for you.
All right. So, who is your favorite FSU player in the past, present, at any? You're younger than I am, so I always go back to the Deion Sanders days, but you're probably going to go back to more Jameis Winston type time frame. But who was your favorite Florida State player?
I'm gonna have to go with my. I think it's kind of backwards if I go to. I'm gonna have to go to our basketball coach, man. James. What? My head basketball coach actually played basketball at Florida State for 4 years.
Oh, did he really? Okay.
Yeah, so he played with Charlie Warden, and that'd be my favorite Florida State athlete of all time. Coach.
Then I saw your coach play because that's when I was going to school at Florida State. It was at the same time Charlie was here. So that's right. That's actually a good answer. I like that. All right. So what is the city and or country you would most like to visit that you've never been
to? City or country. I would love to go to Canada.
Okay.
Probably before I head over. Well, probably before I graduate college, I'll head north.
All right. Yeah, I've been to Toronto. I think that's the only place in Canada I've been. It's fun.
Yes, sir.
Big city, got a lot of things to do, a lot of culture, a lot of restaurants, live music, a lot of. I don't know how to speak French, but a lot of people do in Toronto. Anyway, that's a good visit. All right, so you're doing all this recruiting, and this is one of my. The recruiting's changed a lot. It's back when I was being recruited in the Stone Ages. You got letters in the mail. There was very limited phone calls. So what is your least favorite thing about the recruiting process?
The least favorite thing about the recruiting process? Oh, having to tell the program no. Like having to say, hey, coach, thank you for the opportunity, but I'm not going to be able to do it because every opportunity is a great one and people don't get this opportunity, but it's kind of hard to have to let programs go. But it's something something I had to get used to because it has to happen. You can only pick one at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you because you just cut down your numbers big time.
Yes.
Of course, everybody can circle back. You can circle back. They can circle back. But was there anyone, and you don't have to necessarily tell the school or the coach, but was there one school outside of your top 5 that you're like, God, I hate to break it to this coach or this school that, they're number 6 or number 7 and not in it anymore?
Yeah, it was about 2 or 3 schools. At one point, I was pushing to maybe drop like a top 8 instead of a top 5, but I knew I can only go on 5 officials. Even though the rule changed, I'm still not trying to do a lot of trips.
Right.
So go ahead, and I had to make that decision, sit with my mom and narrow that list down.
All right, so what is your favorite thing about the recruiting process?
My favorite thing about the recruiting process is building relationships and then traveling to new places. Because I've been to Pittsburgh, a lot of parts of North Carolina, all over Florida, Georgia. So traveling with being able to travel because I'm pretty good at something I love, it has really been a blessing. Then building relationships with different people across different schools across the country, that's been a blessing as well, because there's some coaches who I've told them, hey, coach, I'm not going to be able to come to your program, but we still talk, we still build good relationships because a guy may be here one day, he could be at the top of it the next day.
Yep.
So, but building relationships and traveling definitely my favorite part about the recruiting process.
Yeah, and now that with the advent of the transfer portal, it's always good to have keep in contact with old friends, right? You don't ever know. I mean, hopefully wherever you go, you'll stay for 4 or 5 years and be very happy. But I think that's a smart thing to do. But yeah, it is fun when your talent you get to experience different cities and towns and people because you enjoy what you're doing and you're good at it. So that's awesome. Well, Deryc, listen, I know I kept you about 10 minutes longer than I told you I would, but I did want, since you announced your top 5, we kind of wanted to get to know you a little bit ourselves here at the Osceola, let Florida State fans get to know a little bit about you and where your recruiting process was. Some people get upset that I ask you about other schools, but that's the reality of it. You are being recruited by other people. So I appreciate you being forthright on that with us. Like I said, it's been a lot of fun to do evaluations on your film. You're a tremendous prospect. Glad things are working out with Florida State. Of course, I will stay in contact with you. We're not going to forget about you. We're going to stay in contact. But just kind of with your top 5 coming out, just kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit, get to know a little bit more about you as a player on the field and obviously as a person off the field. And I enjoyed the conversation. And listen, obviously I'll be in contact, but as this process plays out, good luck. It can be very difficult at times, and you've got some great choices. And the way I always tell people, I tell prospects when I was involved in football, find a place that's a good fit for you socially, athletically, and academically, and you can't go wrong with that particular place. So, but anyway, best of luck to you. I know you got more offers coming your way, but certainly, look forward to catching up with you as you go into your senior year, and then obviously talking to you before and after your official visit to Florida State.
Yes, sir.
All right, Deryc, have a great day, and we want to thank everyone for watching today's version of the Osceola's Seminole Sidelines, and we want to thank Deryc Plazz for joining us today, and we'll be back on Friday.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.